was young, I had three dreams: to be a writer, to sit at a desk writing high up in a tower in New York City, looking out over the glittering electric skyline. And the third dream, to go everywhere and meet everybody. You want to be very careful what you wish for. I got everything I ever dreamed of because of the power of the potential of poetry of the American English language before it fell. I did want to get out of that town, and in many ways, I never left, as you can see from the sentence. Because I am also a teacher of geography. They don't know me. And I'm a teacher of history. And so it's what I can do. I'm here because my colleagues in writing, Avi, Will Hobbs, have recommended that I come. This is a moment to meet students who are prepared to meet an author. Because believe me, if they are not prepared, the visit is worthless. They won't remember who you were the next day. So a writer's visit is the culminating event of a whole school working together. And every department, science and math. This is that one school in 10,000. So, whatever you're paying. But there is no nirvana. And I wish I were seeing the middle schoolers too. First of all, my friend Will Hobbs saw them and loved them. And I'll come back to middle schoolers in a minute. I wish I were seeing the seniors. The seniors who actually think admission to the right college is the most important feature of their future. It isn't. It isn't. Nobody ever asks to see my transcript. And New York City, where I live, is full of achieving people who came from every range of background, many of them coming from behind, and from every college and institute and university in the world. Admission to the right college is meaningless. What you do with the education wherever you get it is what you do. Please remember that when your children are seniors. Panic sets in, and do not give way to it. When you become a writer, you are asked often by people who want to be writers how you got your start. The world is full of young people who dream of being writers, as I did, though I had no one to ask. You'd be surprised how many 8th graders want agents. There are people who don't know what verbs are, and they want to be writers. The need is always there. Well, I will tell you. I wanted to be a writer before I could read, and there's only one reason for that. I marched into kindergarten on the day that Hitler marched into Poland. But I was better prepared than he. I had a mother who read to me as evening proceeded apace. Light the lamp and turn the page and be any place. Pirates there were in palaces, and a raft at the river's bend. I warmed my face at the story's light, hoping it wouldn't end. I had a mother who read to me as the afternoon ebbed away, and stories stirred in the darkening womb. That's why I'm here today. Because most of who we are is determined in those first 5 fleeting years of life before we ever see school. Schools don't build foundations. Schools build upon foundations. And my mother read to me. Now, parents never know what they're doing. She wasn't trying to make a published writer out of me. She simply had no intention of sending an ignoramus to first grade. And so she filled me up with stories and the words that build them. And I had to write thank you notes for gifts from grandparents before I could write, so she would dictate to me. Capital T, small h, E space. She said, I'm not teaching you to read. That's the first grade teacher's job. But you have these letters to write. So, I was well on the way. I marched into first grade with quite a tidy vocabulary. I cannot find in the letters seventh graders send me now. And why am I a writer? Well, because of a boy I met in grade school. We all need our role models, writers or not. And all the best role models are dead. And all the worst role models are a year ahead of you in school. But I'm a writer because of a boy I met in fourth grade. I didn't meet him in class. I wouldn't have sat next to him in class. I met him in the library. And he's never left me. I can hear his voice now. In the morning, we went up to the village and bought a wire rat trap and fetched it down and unstopped the best rat hole. And in about an hour, we had 15 of the bulliest kind of ones. And then we took it and put it in a safe place under Aunt Sally's bed. But while we was gone for spiders, little Thomas Franklin, Benjamin Jefferson, Alexander Phelps found it there and opened the door of it to see if the rats would come out. And they would. And Aunt Sally, she come in. And when we got back, she was standing on top of the bed raising Cain. And the rats was doing what they could to keep off the dull times for her. So she dusted us both with the hickory. And we was as much as 2 hours catching another 15 or 16. And we got a splendid stock of spiders, bugs and frogs and caterpillars, and one thing or another, and we liked to get a hornet's nest, but we didn't. The family was at home. That's a page from The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Oh. And on the day I read that, I saw where I wanted to be for the rest of my life, trying to turn rough language into real poetry. We all need our role models, and he is still mine. I can never be Mark Twain, but we learn from better writers than we are. And nobody but a reader ever became a writer. You have to read 1,000 books before you can write one. And children today need a lot of reading too, even when they're reading for themselves. They need a whole lot, a great deal fewer after-school activities, and they need a whole lot more time with parents reading. And there are so many ways to do it. Our books are on audio now, with actors performing them. And so the whole family can listen, and in cars, on vacations, in community. There are so many ways to read, for the story to reach us now, but they must be scheduled. My mother read to me, but today we're told there is no time to read to a child in the single-parent family, in the family where both parents work. No schedule for reading in the online Wi-Fi family, where the screens glow hot into the night long after parents are fast asleep, and children take their cell phones to bed. No patience, we're told today, to read to the hyperactive child. I wanted to be hyperactive too, but mother wouldn't let me.